Afternoon, Robert. Firstly, could we just get team news ahead of Sunday, please?
It's only Beth and England who cannot be in the squad. Otherwise we have a strong squad, so it's going to be hard to pick a starting 11 and a squad.
And of course, it's not particularly surprising that England's still out. Another couple of weeks, I presume. And you've struggled for goals without England, and she's got 8 in the league. Only one of the players got more than 1. How do you kind of change that on Sunday? Because we saw it against Brighton, but it struggled in front of her.
Yeah, I mean, one thing is her scoring goals and one thing is how she lead the team. So obviously she's a big loss. But I think we need to look at what we're doing on the ball and how we play and what we do when we win the ball in the high press as well. We need to be a little bit more determined how to get into their box, how to make sure we attack the crosses and so on. Because we have a lot of good moments in the game where we don't have a goal chance because we are not in the right space where we should be and so on. So we looked quite much into that this week. And this last 6 games will be a lot of focus on how to create more goal chances and to make sure we score more goals, because that's Tottenham Hotspur and we need to get back to that creativity where we find ways to create chances and from that scoring goals.
And kind of touch on West Ham really. It seems to have quite a slow start to the season, but ever since the winter break they seem to be really clicking, and of course beat you in the League Cup quarter-finals. What have you made of West Ham recently, and what kind of are you expecting on Sunday?
I think Rianne is her second year, and I think she has signed players and worked with them for 1.5 years, where they feel like they're quite connected to how they want to play and how they use that strength of that squad. I think they had some really good games against Arsenal and Man City now as well. Tough game, always tough game against them, and I think there's been a lot of games against them when I've been here where we are a lot of goals. So I think it's going to be an open game. I hope both teams are daring to play football and go for the goal chances, and hopefully we can turn this bad run of games to a win, because I think we want to have this last 6 games with a good run of performances and a few wins.
Good. That's all from me. Best of luck on Sunday.
Cheers.
Dan Pentland.
Hey Robert, hope you're well. Just off the back of that, obviously West Ham at home, I think only Arsenal and Chelsea had won there. I think 14 of their 15 points have come at home. So what kind of sticks out from kind of the way that they play at in Dagenham that makes them such a tough opponent away?
I think when you look at, that's their home stadium, and it's a quite unique stadium where I think they love to be there, and I think not too many other teams think that's an amazing stadium, but they have their strength there. I think how they use the squad right now, how they both are pressing very well and how they are taking their chances. They score on set pieces, they score on transitions. I think they have some really good players, to be honest, and I think Rianne she's been in this league for a few years, so she knows how to grow a team. So I have enormous respect for them, and I think they are in around where we are. If we lose, they're going to pass us in the table. If we win, we're going to have a gap to them. So it's an important game in that way, but I also feel like we are in the same journey, me and Rianne, where we started at the same time. We're trying to build something that can be better than there is, and I think both of us are in the same position in the table, but both teams have potential to be higher, I think.
And just in terms of the kind of London derby aspect, I know from West Ham's side they certainly see Spurs probably as their biggest rivals in the Super League. Do you kind of feel the same going to West Ham, particularly that you kind of, as you say, competing at similar levels, similar kind of time scales? Is this kind of as big a derby for you as an Arsenal game will be?
For a Swedish man lived in London for 1.5 years, I just feel like it's a derby against Arsenal, to be honest, and I think that's because you feel it when you are up here in North London. Obviously, when you play all the other London teams, it's a derby, but I really just, from my perspective, feel that against Arsenal. But then I like to play around London, and I had a good moment last season when we beat them over there as well. So, but to be honest, Arsenal is the North London derby, which I feel like a little bit extra for.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Robert. Best of luck. Thank you.
Cheers.
Chris.
Hi Robert, hope you're well. Going into this game, of course, you go into it 5 defeats in all competitions. It'd be great to get back to winning ways, but you said it on a couple of occasions that a club like Spurs at the moment is not expected for you to beat the top teams in the WSL. When do you think that expectation will change from the club's point of view and the fans' point of view?
I think as soon as you are quite near how you invest and how you have built something, then you can start to expect stuff. We are very young as a women's team. We are not close to the top 3 teams in investments right now. So to expect us to beat them is not. You shouldn't think that way because it's impossible. But you could hope for it, and we should aim for it. But as this journey goes on and we grow with our squad, with the training facilities, with staff members, with adding more money year by year, I think I can tell you when I feel like we are ready for it. But I think we still are a very young club compared to those teams, and you need to have some kind of expectations where you feel like it's logical. Yeah, we are Tottenham Hotspur, but Tottenham Hotspur women's team is a very young team. But we don't want to wait too long, so we want to make sure that last year was a good year. This year was kind of in the same spot, but we don't really feel like we are near this year. So I want to make sure next year that we are closer to that, and then hopefully in the near future we are pushing all the steps to make sure we can actually be expected to win some of those games.
Well, on a positive note, I think Spurs Women last lost to West Ham in the WSL back in December 2022. So during your time, you haven't lost to West Ham Women in the WSL. How would you describe your previous meetings with them, and how difficult will Sunday be?
Obviously, it's interesting to look at history and everything, but it doesn't really matter anything when you come to the game on Sunday. Rianne was the coach of Tottenham Hotspur before, which is always something we speak about when you play against them. We had a great game against them at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last season. We had a great game away where we were scoring some beautiful goals, and then they came back and win the game, and then we still won that game. So we won against them before Christmas as well. I mean, it's very competitive. We haven't, smashed them or anything. It's been very competitive games, and we have found ways to win, and we have scored quite many goals against them. So fun games, good games for the fans to watch. So hopefully we get another one tomorrow or on Sunday where we can get back to the shape where we want to make sure we can dictate games, create a lot of goal chances, and score a lot of goals.
And also, how would you describe Jelena since she has left Tottenham and gone to play for West Ham? Will she be a difficult opponent on Sunday?
I'm very happy that she have a big role there and that she get the minutes she deserve. And there was a big competition when I came here with a lot of centre backs, and I couldn't really find a way to give her those minutes. I mean, she's a Canadian national team player, so for me, she's doing well, and I think she's a national team player. She's a very good player. But on the other hand, it's a lot of good players in that team, and I don't really focus on the specific player. And I know that we are having some really good attacking players, so no matter who they play, we will have a good chance to find ways to score.
Last season, Robert, Martha Thomas, if selected on Sunday, will make her 100th WSL appearance. What have you made of her time during your time at Spurs, and do you expect her to score more goals than she does?
If I start with Martha Thomas as a person, I think she's an amazing person. She's a great character, good leader. She's very smart. She understands tactical elements. She can have discussions with you. If you don't play her, she will have discussions to understand why. And if she plays, she can have it. So I really love everything about Martha and having her in the squad. Last season, she was the best number 9 in the beginning there, scoring on everything, and she was great in the press. Picked up an injury, had some back and forth moments the rest of the season, but still scored in the semi-final against Leicester. This season, played well in the pre-season and played well for the team, but she haven't really made the goal chances to create goals. I know as a former striker, it's a self-confidence thing as well. She do a lot of good work for us. She scored a beautiful header against West Ham in the Cup. If she starts on Sunday, I'm quite sure that she's going to be having a big impact in how we press, how we create chances, and then you can never expect somebody to score a goal, but she scored a lot of goals in training, so I'm just waiting for that moment where she score a few goals and just get back to that goal-scoring machine again.
Hey, Robert, best of luck.
Cheers.
Charlotte?
Hey, Robert, a couple of different things. First of all, I have to ask, it's been obviously a bad few weeks for the team with the people that outlined the results. Do you feel under personal pressure, given there's been a lot of changes in management in the WSL this season?
I mean, it's when 5 colleagues have lost their jobs, of course it's quite many. But on the other hand, it feels like I cannot run around being worried about that. I feel like me and the club are looking at it in a big, long period of time. I think we are taking steps, and then we have a few bad moments in that, both me as a coach, but also like we're learning from this journey as well. I don't feel any pressure to be fired. If they want to fire me, then do it. I'm doing my best, and I'm doing the best with the club, and I feel like we're doing it together. So no, I don't really feel that. But you never know in this business, and I also are aware that one day that will happen, and then I'm just going to accept it and move on. So it doesn't really affect me. But obviously we need to pick up better results. We have a few losses in a row. I think we had Man City, which was actually a good game. So if you look at it performance-wise and how we could have got something from that was a good game. But the Brighton game was nowhere near what we want to do. We went into that game with trying to have a game plan connected to how the pitch was, what we did against Man City, and we failed. And then that's on me. And then I take the blame, and I'm going to learn from that. But I don't look at it, okay, if we lose West Ham, then I'm out. I'm looking at how can we improve these 6 games to make sure we can build something for next season. And I have 2 years more on my contract, and whatever happens, if they don't want to work with me in the future, I'm taking it then.
And do you feel the players are still behind you and what you're trying to build at Tottenham?
I mean, it's always the confidence of a squad and players, always in the end of the season as well. Who's playing, who is performing, are we getting everything right? I mean, they are trying, they are pushing, they are doing everything they can. It's a lot easier to be a coach when you're winning. But I mean, this is not about blaming anyone. This is not about, we are doing this together as a club, as a squad, as a staff group. And until everything, we're going to make sure we take steps. And I feel like they try everything we can in training and in games. And I really, really hope we can have a good game on Sunday and then build from that. But definitely, I feel like they are trying to do everything we ask for them.
Thank you very much, Robert. Good luck.
Thank you.
And we'll leave it there.